Hello everyone and welcome to round 5 of my F1 24 My Team career mode. Today we're here for the Chinese Grand Prix and we're also here for the first sprint race of the season. Now if you guys haven't seen the previous round at Japan, go check it out guys, link in the top right as always. Spoiler warning ahead, go watch it because we're going to talk about it in about 3 seconds. So yeah, go check it out if you haven't done so already. For this one guys, like the video, subscribe and let's talk about a few things. Now the previous race, we of course had that mechanical failure. Our gearbox went pop and we had our first non-points finish of the season. Now granted, we got brought down to reality last race. The pace wasn't quite there. I'll say that just back to where you'd expect us to be after being in pretty much fantasy land for the first 3 races. Now in the meantime, we took care of some activities, making sure we improved Jamie Chadwick in a pretty big way. And then we confirmed that the gearbox was what we lost and we're going to replace it this weekend. So luckily, out of all the components, the gearbox, there's 5 of them available and they wear very little. So that's actually quite a good thing, you know, in terms of you're going to have a failure, let it be the gearbox. Now, we did inherit 320 extra R&D points to spend, so we're going to invest all of those in extra upgrades. Now, we do get 1 arrive for the floor stiffening, stay positioning on the chassis. So we're going to add another, this time for the energy store cell positioning, and that's going to help us out quite a bit, but that will arrive for Miami. For this one though, China, we do have a failure on the front wing end plates, which was a real shame. So we're going to have to go ahead and repurchase it, but we can't afford it. It's 200 points out of our reach. So nothing we can do. We skipped ahead on the timeline and we had yet another failure. So a double aerodynamic failure. All we've got this weekend then is that chassis update, which we just saw. So yeah, bit of a shame. Confirmation, the front wing gurney flap doesn't arrive. And you can see we have 2 pending upgrades, which were meant to be on the car this race, but are not. So yeah, it looks like we're going to have to reinvest in those next time around. So yeah, unfortunately it is what it is. We're going to go to the weekend with only 1 out of 3 upgrades. And also one thing to note, as I might put this in the title, we are going to trial the one-shot qualifying for the sprint weekend events to basically make the weekend a bit shorter, snappier, and not have like a 45-minute episode. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Anyway, forecast is dry, and as you know, the R&D line is bugged, so no point going into detail, only just mentioning that we are still where we were in the first 4 rounds, in between VCarb and Williams, and of course, had we had all those upgrades arrive, it's possible we may have jumped into that space in between VCarb and Aston Martin. Anyway, as things stand, even with that mechanical failure last time out, we do actually still lead the Drivers' Championship. We're 4th in the Constructors, and it looks like, you know, it could be a battle for P5 versus Aston Martin. That's what I predict is going to be the case. I predicted it last race. We'll see if that comes true. But in the drivers right now, we're cooking. Anyway, we jump into the single practice session for the weekend, the FP1. And on my last lap, we got loosey-goosey through the fast, flat-out left-hander of turn 7, I believe, as we finish.
Program complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can take you through the numbers.
And generally it was a pretty decent practice program. Even with that huge moment, we had pretty much average tyre wear and average fuel consumption, which is actually not too bad for a track like China. My tyres were really worn by the end of that program. Anyway, because of the one-shot qualifying, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the qualifying laps in the shootout and the regular qualifying with just engine sound and just, you know, appreciate what I do. We finished practice in P9, Jamie Chadwick, P17, only 7/10 off on a slower tyre, so maybe those activities at the start of the video might have worked. She also scored 256 R&D points, which is a massive improvement over the first few rounds. So it seems like finally with Jamie we're getting a bit of progress and we're getting somewhere. Anyway, we're going to jump into sprint shootout or single lap shootout. Anyway, let's get to it and let's see how we get on.
Well, here we go again. Welcome back to Shanghai. Welcome back to qualifying in China. And this is a technical, tricky track. Whoever takes pole is going to deserve it.
there we go. The one-shot shootout, as I'm going to call it for the season. Not bad, P11. It is our worst qualifying of the season, and I'll let you guys watch the results on the grid rundown for the race intro. Either way, in terms of our rivalry with Ricciardo, we are tied at 6 points apiece, but generally not bad. And I think we can definitely fight our way into the top 8, into the points. So guys, let's get into it. It's time for the sprint race.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Martinez, Gasly, Ocon, Tsunoda, Albon, Ricciardo, Joe, Bottas, Magnussen, Chadwick, Hulkenberg, and Logan Sargent. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
So, decent one-shot qualifying, or one-shot shootout, as I'd probably like to call it. And yeah, decent performance. Obviously, we do qualify out of the top 10 for the first time this season, but only P11, so not a million miles away. My big concern here is tyre temperature. Just not really being able to get anything on these tyres on this formation lap, so we might be struggling a little bit on the start. Either way, we'll try and get a few burnouts here to get tyres warmed up. We're taking half a lap of fuel, everyone on the mediums for this sprint, so not a lot of strategy, just about full send, being quick, and hopefully at the end of it, picking up a top 8 finish. Anyway, let's get to it. Like the video, subscribe, and let's get to work. 5 lights on, and we go racing in China. Trying to find the bite point. Not a bad start. No one is going to overtake us, which is good. Down towards turn 1, turn 2. We might just try and slip down the inside of Lance Stroll here. We've got a 3 wide ahead, so nothing we can really do in this scenario, but we're going to get the outside line and we're going to try and just hold the inside down towards turn 5. We'll have a little look at Piastri as well. All these cars are quicker than us, so we're going to have to work hard. Piastri's still there. As we go side by side, we're going to go around the outside and pick that one up. Quality overtake. Really, really nice. Alonso getting a good start as well, moving up to P7. So right now, tucked in behind Leclerc. It's going to be tricky to get points, especially with Piastri being a faster car behind us, but we'll try our best. 10-lap sprint. We'll try and sink our teeth in and get stuck in. Let's see what the straight line speed looks like as we have a moment. That's going to really put us on the back foot now. We're going to use the battery here. Piastri is actually falling back, so we've got good straight line speed at the top end, which is really encouraging. And a really welcome sight, which means we should be able to actually try and defend a little bit in this one. Right, let's try and stay in DRS this time next lap. That's the crucial one. Try and stay within a second of Leclerc. We're hanging on. We've got DRS. Crucially, also behind, Stroll, Piastri, Gasly got into a bit of a battle and lost time. So they're going to be a little bit behind out of DRS for the time being. So we've just got to try and stay with the cars ahead and stick with the train, which is crucial. 132.7, 132.9. So we're matching the pace. No one's getting away here. So that's very good. Let's see how tyre wear evolves. Traditionally, the AI do tend to struggle a bit more than me, the player, on worn tyres. But again, it's a bit of an unknown in this whole My Team universe, how things behave. So let's see. Alonso's just starting to fall back here a little bit. I wonder if he'll still have DRS. I'm going to assume it's Perez who's ahead of him. Either way, yellow flag. That could be in front. Is it? No, it's behind.
Okay, clear.
It's Stroll. As Leclerc challenges Alonso into the hairpin. Definitely think Fernando's struggling to hold on here. So you might want to follow Leclerc through and hopefully maybe stick with him. He might drag us back towards the lead group. Let's see. This is going to get interesting now.
I've got information on Stroll. Okay, it looks like the problem's terminal. They're retiring the car.
So one Aston Martin out and the other one is struggling. Let's see. Maybe we can follow Leclerc through on the back straight.
Okay, be aware there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
Yep, there's still a yellow. It has now just been cleared, but that would have made it tricky for us to overtake Alonso. Leclerc goes through. Piastri now is getting back on the pace and getting back on the hunt. Now that he's cleared Stroll, that's a big snap from us there. I was going to try and get Alonso, but that cost us. We'll try and stick with it here. Leclerc's now going to pull the pace, so we'll see if we catch back up to the lead train. Leclerc's getting away. Alonso falling behind. I don't know if he has DRS on Leclerc or not. I don't think he does. So we're going to get stuck in here and go for the pass. We're going to force him defensive. Braking super late, leaving room at the apex. And we're doing this to hopefully maybe still nab DRS off of Leclerc. Don't think we did though, so we'll use all the battery here to try and stick with it. Alonso's going to have a little look here. We're going to have to go defensive. Wasn't exactly an ideal overtake, not most efficient, but let's try and push and see if we can hang in there with Charles and try and get DRS from him. It's going to be tricky though. A little bit of a mistake there, ran it in a bit deep. No DRS. Jamie Chadwick is out, so we've lost our teammate. So reliability for the second race in a row costing us. Alonso managed to hold on. Piastri not quite in DRS range yet. But this is going to be a tricky part of this sprint race. We need Leclerc to catch the lead group, and we just need everyone to sort of concertina up a little bit, and we might be able to get back in DRS because the lead group is not getting away.
I've got some information on Hamilton for you. They've got some kind of mechanical problem.
Okay. More reliability troubles. Let's see what happens ahead.
Information on Ocon. They seem to have an issue.
Another one with car trouble as Alonso goes for the move. We managed to keep our car on the inside and we'll just hold the line. Especially now with Hamilton having car trouble. They're starting to lose time ahead and bunch up. Looks like Norris and Russell managed to get away, but this is about for P3 up ahead. Poor exit there. Piastri having a bit of a half look. He's passed Alonso. You can see Hamilton there struggling. Leclerc looking to get past him. So we may well lose out to Piastri, but we might be able to recoup a place from Alonso. Sorry, from Hamilton. Alonso though might get through here as well. We've got to be careful. There they go. They both go through. I don't really have a lot of battery. Bit of a too wide roadblock here. We're going to just try and get a bit of a switch back, but no way through. Leclerc passes Hamilton. I've got to be smart about this. There's a couple of points up for grabs. Oh, big lunge. Big surprise lunge there. I want to be behind Piastri. That was a huge send. Still got confidence in the tyres. I needed that. Hopefully we'll reach Hamilton on the last lap with Piastri if his car still has issues. I think Lewis has got going again. He's currently sticking with Leclerc and actually pressuring him to re-overtake. So our target is going to be Piastri here on the back straight. Right, this is going to be critical. If we can nail this. Oh, I just struggle so much there compared to the AI to get the power down. The gap's really blown up with that. And I don't have a ton of battery either. Piastri's flashing, to be fair. We might still have a shot. We go through, but I can't get it stopped in time. So much overspeed momentum cost us there. Piastri's going to hold on, and I think we're going to miss out on the points. Damn.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
There we go then. Final sprint results confirmed. George Russell with the victory. Lando second and Sainz on the podium. We do miss out on the points, unfortunately, with that late lunge. So, yeah, bit of a shame, but I'm not too annoyed. Ultimately, we started P11, finished P9. So that's a decent race in my book. And definitely punching above our weight, I think, with the big boys. So, decent enough, no reward, but it is what it is. Let's get into the regular qualifying and the rest of the weekend following this.
Well, here we go again. Welcome back to Shanghai. Welcome back to qualifying in China. And this is a technical, tricky track. Whoever takes pole is going to deserve it.
So, in the end, P9, not bad at all, and actually a better result than the sprint shootout. We went 2/10 quicker, highlighting our improvement and, you know, also our position P11 versus P9. And hopefully we can convert this into some points because, of course, the top 10 score points as opposed to the top 8 in the sprint. We also are going to level up on team acclaim to level 13. So a good session. I'll take it. I think that's the maximum that the car has around here. So we're just going to try and fight for some bottom end points, hopefully be consistent and have a decent race. Anyway, it's time for the main event.
The Chinese Grand Prix then is upon us once again. A race that saw Michael Schumacher claim his final Formula One victory in 2006, as well as Red Bull's first with Sebastian Vettel in 2009. There's no doubt plenty more drama to come here in Shanghai. Shanghai International Circuit then is a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests the driver's patience, and the flat open to the element's location tests their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and they're available into turn 1 and down the kilometre-long back straight into turn 14. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Oscar Piastri, Russell, Perez, Sainz, Hamilton, Martinez, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Albon, Bottas, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Joe, Ricciardo, Sargent, Stroll, and Jamie Chadwick. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me is Anthony Davidson. Okay, the start, so important. Tell us about how you ace a launch off the line.
The drivers these days, they practice, practice and practice. They have rigs with them at the circuit where they can sit down with the actual steering wheel from the real car, and they've got lights that they react to. The clutch paddle is tailored around the driver's hands, around their fingers, so they can optimum position before they start. So there's so much thought and effort that goes into getting these cars off the line.
Now then, time for the main event. We start from 9th, which seems to be the trend for this entire race weekend. The sprint, qualifying, and now starting the race in that position. So, strategy for this one, I'm going to try something different. I want to try and start the hard tyres for this one. If I can make them work, be a bit more aggressive on the formation lap, then go mediums, we might have a better second half of the race. Now, fuel-wise, I'm going for 0.4. That should be fine based off the sprint use. So the big thing here is I've made a few adjustments to the wing in Parc Fermé because it opens back up after the sprint portion of the weekend. So I'm trying to find a bit more balance on the back end of the car so we struggle less with rear end stability later on in the stints. Other than that, pace is pretty decent. I'm happy with the car. And I think P9 or maybe a bit more could be possible. Either way, we just missed out on points in the sprint. Let's make sure to not do the same mistake twice and get a few points in the main race. Right, this time we've got tyre temp, a much better formation lap compared to the sprint. So now we've got something to work with on this one. So let's get to it and let's get to work. Let's try and hopefully get a good start. Gasly also on hards with us. Let's get to it. Part 2 of the weekend. Like the video if you're still enjoying. And let's get to work. 5 lights. And we're underway. Another decent start. Gasly also gets off the line really well. We've got a few slow starters up ahead. Hamilton with an incredible launch up to P3. What a start from Lewis Hamilton. We're going to go the long way around here. Norris very wide through there as we get past the Spaniards, Sainz and Alonso. Whoa.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
Just snapping everywhere on these tyres. Out of turn 3 and now just trying to hang on. P9 still though. That worked out pretty well. Alonso actually started behind us, so no actual position gain. I think either these guys are battling or someone might have some early damage. We saw Norris run wide into turn 3. Surely he hasn't got damage already, right? But maybe he does? Either way, decent start. If we can stay within DRS in P9 on these tyres, we're doing really well. So let's try and hopefully make it work. Back end still snapping even with the slight wing adjustment on the setup after Parc Fermé got opened. But still, we're not going to get carried away. Long race, 28 laps. Let's also try and hang on to some of the battery, as we'll need that to stay within DRS over the next few laps. Good start though. And it's not over yet. Russell Norris, who finished first and second in the sprint, now battling for P6 early on in this race.
We can now use DRS. DRS now available.
Carlos Sainz getting involved. Norris on hards as well, so that would explain his pace early on. So we've got someone to basically, you know, just leech off. I can see Perez ahead on hards as well. So we've got quite a mixture of tyres around us. So it's not just us going for this strategy choice. So that will open things up in this one for us. At the moment, Leclerc has broken free out front. Then you've got Verstappen and Hamilton, P2, P3, and another little breakaway. And then you've got Piastri at the front of this train of cars. And you've got Norris and Perez for certain on hards. Not sure if anybody else is, but right now everything's working well. We're hanging in there. The hard tyres now are working up to temperature and responding well. So this race is slowly coming towards us. Alonso, Albon behind. Gasly got overtaken, so he couldn't quite manage on the hards. Oh my god. Already? Are you kidding? Oh no. Wow. That's such a big blow. I can't believe it. Things were just looking so good as well. And it's back-to-back DNFs. It confirms the theory, and I know there's something there, and I've mentioned it to Cody's before. When you replace engine parts, it opens up Pandora's box to more failures. It's like a guaranteed thing. I knew this would happen after the last race when we had to replace the gearbox. Well, that's that.
today's box office when this man's at the front. Max Verstappen takes the checkered flag.
And this really is, as we know, a team game, and a performance from the driver like this today gives the team energy moving forwards. It's closely fought in the Constructors' Championship, and this will go a long way to boosting that energy as we move forward.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Disappointing, really disappointing, and it makes that sprint sting even more now that we didn't get a point in that, because obviously this was going to happen. Also a shame we didn't have the engine failure in the sprint, because we could have actually still had a good weekend and got points here. Anyway, that aside, Verstappen, maximum point scorer throughout the weekend. Didn't win the sprint, that went to George Russell, but he didn't have a particularly great race. But there is all your point scorers. But if we scroll down, you can see Chadwick and myself, no points. Now, in the race specifically, where did Jamie finish? I want to find out where exactly she ended up. So P19 for Jamie Chadwick. Not exactly anywhere near any other cars. Comfortably ahead of Sargent, but nothing to rave about. Gasly also DNFing with that hard tyre start as well. So it's really frustrating. Real just big shame in general. In the standings, let's quickly browse and have a look. So Sainz is your new leader. Verstappen up to second, Norris up to third. We dropped to fourth with back-to-back DNFs, and Perez only 4 points behind us. So yeah, that's a bit of a hammer blow in just a weekend as a whole, because the sprint is not just a regular point scoring weekend. There's more points up for grabs. In the Constructors, we're down to fifth, as now Mercedes overtake us. So as I mentioned in the last episode, our target is Aston Martin. So battling with Alonso all weekend long could be the future for us as a team, and we've got a healthy margin, so we've got to try and hold on to that. So yeah, we're going to go to upgrades and basically prepare the next race, because again, I don't want this video to be too short to kind of give away the DNF. So let's do that. Right, so first thing to note is a good start. We do outscore Ricciardo quite nicely in terms of the rivalry. Even though we got a DNF, you know, we're still level, which is good. So it's not the worst case scenario. We do get hit on the acclaim everywhere. Myself, Jamie, and the team, which is not good. Luckily, we do have, you know, that level 10 acclaim, and again, we foul that no DNF target with AI as a sponsor, which is really annoying, because since I've signed them, I've had 2 DNFs, and that's the only thing to not have. So yeah, anyway, our total cash flow now goes to 7.15 million as we move on to updates. Now we go from one sprint to another. Miami is the next race. Now we're going to prepare a few things. The next race in about 10 days, 12 days time. So we're going to quickly go to activities, and we're going to, again, select these a bit tactically. So second driver training for Jamie Chadwick. Fund a team event to improve team morale. I don't mind taking a bit of a haircut on the cash with that. Sponsor event fundraiser, again to improve team acclaim. And we'll also go for driver promotion filming, and we'll go for power team building because it doesn't affect other departments. So that stacks up our activities. We're going to get an inheritance again from the reliability trouble, so we get an extra 320 R&D points, which we're going to invest now. Now this is pretty obvious, but of course we had the double failures on the aero, so we're going to basically repurchase both upgrades, which should arrive, well, one of them should arrive before Miami, the other one should be for Imola. So that pretty much nukes our points total, so hopefully we'll get those on the car with no more dramas, and we can focus on upgrades now for Imola with the points we stack up from now until then. Confirmation that we lost the MG UK, which I was kind of hoping we'd lose the ICE because that's quite worn. My MG UK wasn't in too bad of a state, but unfortunately we're going to have to replace it. So, oh boy, I'm getting a bit worried. I hope we don't fall into a rut of failures. But I'm going to leave mechanical failures enabled because I like that element in these episodes. I think adds something. So yeah, anyway, MGUK replaced. ICE, I might leave it in for FP1 Miami and then maybe take it out for the sprint shootout. And let me know in the comments, should I stick with the one-shot qualifying format? I actually quite enjoyed it because you get a one and done, you only get one chance. So I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Anyway, that is going to be it, guys, for the episode. So last thing to do before we head away is skip ahead on the timeline.
I know we were expecting some new developments to come through, but some of them have failed quality control. We'll need to tell the team what to redevelop via the R&D screen.
Unfortunately, another failure, and this one is on the chassis. So, as you can see, energy store cells positioning failed. 792 points, but we should be able to repurchase that after Miami and hopefully still have it on the car for Imola, and that will 100% arrive. But once we do this, it will likely remove any possibility of doing updates for any extra updates for the next race. So that's kind of where we stand, guys. So yeah, unfortunately, not great on the reliability front, not great on the upgrade front. 3 failures in a row. It is what it is. The aerodynamic upgrade, I believe, there we go, the front wing end plates have arrived, so we have something on the car. But yeah, generally a bit of a rough couple of episodes. Anyway, guys, like the video, subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we go again. Round number 6, Miami, and another sprint, a chance to correct what went wrong in today's episode. Hopefully, if there's going to be a failure, it happens in the sprint, not in the main race, because we need to get some points and get back in the kind of, you know, positive vibes, getting some decent results. Anyway, guys, a big shout out to the members for supporting the channel, the content, and the videos. Also, as I mentioned, smash the like button. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes. Subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one very soon. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them, and yeah, guys, we'll see you next time. Ciao.